Hey, welcome to our March Thankful Thursday Freedom Call. Here I encourage you to consider something you're thankful for, and here I give at least one action step to move you towards freedom, especially financial freedom. Because once we gain financial freedom, then it's that much easier to pursue our dreams. So, I want to share recently what happened to me that caused a bit of a financial setback in my personal finances, how I overcame it, and how to prepare for unexpected emergencies, because that will always happen. Expect the unexpected. So I'm going to share one money saving tip as well, a new one that I discovered, and what to actually do with these money saving tips to move you forward. Remember, also in this journey, you need to believe that it's possible and that it's good to get out of debt, and not only get out of debt, but to have financial freedom. So I actually just got off a coaching call with an amazing young woman, and she was actually in tears because she felt that her family thought it was unchristian to pursue success, and it was unspiritual to have wealth. And that's a whole other teaching that could be like a month-long teaching every day for hours. The Bible talks so much about money, but let me just share one scripture on what the Bible says. In Deuteronomy 15:4, it says, there should be no poor among you. There should be no poor among you. So if you're in debt, you're a slave. You're less than poor. You're a slave to whoever you owe debt to. And that, again, that the Bible also says that. So but again, you need to believe it's possible and it's good to get out of debt, because if you don't believe that, you're going to stay stuck where you are. So back to my setback, how to overcome it, how to prepare for the unexpected, and that tip. So first, I want you to ask yourself, what do you do when you save money? What do you do when you find something, you save some money, get a little extra cash in your pocket? Do you buy a new pair of shoes? Do you go out to dinner? Or do you pay down your debt? Do you invest in your future? All right, what do I recommend? It depends on your own personal goals. Now, ideally, your goals need to be written down on a piece of paper. Can't keep it in your head. Bring it out of your head into physical reality. Write it down. Assess those goals regularly. Set your priorities, and that will tell you what you need to do. So, hey, new shoes? I mean, if your old ones are worn out, that's a need. Going out to eat? Hey, we do not do that every day in my household, but we do like to do it for special occasions, for an anniversary, for a birthday. Paying down debt? Yes, 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 100 times yes. That will give you a big return. Cutting down the interest payments, getting out of debt faster, that's going to give you financial freedom much, much faster. I recommend that that be given a high priority, unless you want to stay a debt slave. How about investing in your future? Again, you should still be paying yourself by investing your money strategically. Making your money work for you instead of you working for your money is the goal. You can pay down debt and you can also invest in your future at the same time. It doesn't need to be one or the other. Depends on the percentage you're going to allocate to that. So pennies count. You might think, well, hey, I sold some clothes to the consignment shop. I got 20 bucks. How am I going to get the new shoes, go out to dinner, pay down my debt, invest in my future? What if I only have, to me, it seems like pennies? Well, I will tell you something. Pennies count, and it's consistency that will change your bottom line, even if it's pennies, and pennies can grow. And guess what? What if I gave you a penny and that penny doubled every single day for the entire month of March? Guess how much money you'd have at the end of March? From the first day of March to the last day of March, a single humble penny will net you, if it doubles every single day, it'll net you $10 million, over $10 million. That's crazy. So pennies count, and baby steps are good. Consistency is what will make that grow exponentially. All right, so let's go to what happened with me. Our propane tank tanked. Yeah, we have propane on a lot of our appliances. We thought the gauge was reading like we had 20 or 30% left in the tank, like we were down to nothing. We were turning on the stove, the flames were not coming up, and we're like, oh my gosh, it can be, I looked it up, it can easily be $1,000 to $1,500, even $2,000 to replace a propane tank. That's a lot of money. We were hoping it was just the gauge, but we did not know what happened. The gauge stopped reading correctly, and we were nearly dry. And of course, when did this happen? On the weekend. It happened on a Friday, and it might have been a Thursday, Friday, like right before the weekend. They could not get anybody out there. And of course, if we really wanted somebody out there immediately, you know they have that emergency charge, the extra $175, and I'm not paying that. It is not a life or death matter. All right. So they said they would come out Monday. And guess what we had to do? We had to turn off every single appliance attached to propane. The stove, the oven, the dryer. I was not real disappointed to have to put laundry off till the end. And the big thing, the hot water heater. And you know what that meant. No hot water heater, no hot showers. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe Monday. Who knows? Who knows when they were going to pop up? Thankfully, the weather was warm. Thankfully, and again, this is Thankful Thursday's Freedom Call, so getting your mind to look at the positive. Thankfully, the weather was warm. Thankfully, we have an electric toaster oven. Thankfully, I have an Instapot that I could use to saute and use for cooking. And thankfully, I had just finished laundry, so we did have clean clothes. So I want you to think about that. Do you see how a positive mindset can work in your favor? We could have been miserable all weekend, but instead we looked with gratitude at what we actually do have. Again, train your mind to think positive, and it will look for solutions. Train your mind with gratitude, and it will start to reveal those solutions. You open up your mind to that instead of closing it down. So we assessed our best and worst case scenarios for how much it would take to fix, where to get the money, what to do in the meantime, and it got fixed this week. And I'll tell you what, we were certainly grateful for the warm showers. But I also thought, was it really that much of an imposition What did our ancestors do throughout recorded history? Did they have hot showers on demand? It was kind of like camping, but it wasn't as rough. And I found out something. Did you know the biggest consumer, the biggest utility that consumes propane in your house is the hot water heater? I thought it was the stove, when I cook or bake or have things on, and I was told by the propane specialists that it's the hot water heater. It's always on, it's always burning. There's always that pilot light. So, yeah, hot water heater. And guess what? Um, do you have young kids? Do you have a teenager? Do you tell them you don't need to be in the shower for longer than 5 minutes? Do you do what happens in our house where my husband is listening to the water run and it's like a half an hour later and he's banging on the door saying, "Hey, get out of the shower," to the teenagers, to my son, "Get out of the shower. It's been a half an hour." And guess what? During this weekend, cold showers, nobody's staying in a cold shower for 30 minutes. So not only did we save money on propane, we saved money on water. So there you go. How much money did we save? I'm not sure. I'll see what happens when we get our bill, but I will tell you what. I'm ready, and I talked to my husband about this. I'm ready to institute camp at home weekends where we pause our propane usage. It's not going to kill anyone, and it's going to teach good stewardship of resources. It's going to teach some good stewardship, and some gratitude when you get the hot water back. And if I was still in debt, I'd be pouring that savings into getting out of debt. And if I was still in debt, I would be doing those camp at home weekends a lot more often. So I'm going to ask you, what are you willing to do to get out of debt faster? A day without using your propane appliances? A weekend? 3 days a week during summer? Make it a game. So that's it. Decide what you want out of life and what you're willing to do to get it. And that was my setback. Thankfully, it turned into a victory. As far as saving up for unexpected expenses like that, we had recently sold some items that were not serving us. If it's there collecting dust, it's not paying rent, why keep it around? We have sold furniture, we've sold cars, we've sold jewelry while we were in debt to move ahead. We recently sold a car that we no longer needed, and we sold it for a profit that we got by fixing it up. My husband fixed it up, not me. And we got about $1,000 back from the auto insurance company for dropping that vehicle. That's crazy. So we did have that aside, and we were able to pay for that expense of fixing the propane. So that was good. But here's the thing, we constantly evaluate. Are we being consumers or producers? Consumers will always be poor unless they also become producers and then produce more than they consume. If you're in debt, you consumed more than you've produced. We've got to reverse that. So our preparation was getting rid of what was holding us down, what's collecting dust, what wasn't paying us rent. And if you do that, you will absolutely build up a nice reserve fund. It's not really too hard. Look around at what you spent money on that you're not using. And there's always going to be something that you find that you're really not using that you can either donate or sell for some money. So that was my propane incident. That's what happened recently, caused a bit of a setback in our personal finances. I would have loved to have spent that money elsewhere. I would have loved to invested that money to go ahead and make me money, but hey, that's the nature of life. You're going to have emergencies, unexpected things happen. How I overcame it was, first of all, the positive mental outlook, training my brain to look for solutions. And you know what? We managed just fine with short showers and the toaster oven and the Instapot. So, how to prepare for unexpected emergencies. Just keep taking those baby steps. Baby steps. It doesn't need to be everything all at once. Sell what you don't use. Keep some cash aside. Pay down the debts. And of course, that one brand new money saving tip that I never did before, camp at home. Turn off the propane, the natural gas, or save some electricity if you don't have gas. Turn off the hot water heater. Take some cold showers. Turn off the TV. Play a board game. Bond with the family and make saving money fun. So, my mission here is to help moms and wives in single income households become debt free within 5 to 7 years and fund their retirement. Baby steps. Start somewhere. Baby steps done consistently bring big results. Decide what you want and decide what you're willing to do to get it. So, see you next time. Keep the faith, build your finances, claim your freedom.